On this day in history, 201 years ago, the first graduates received their diplomas from the Medical University of South Carolina. On April 4th, 1825, commencement was held at College Hall, the temporary school building in the Marine Hospital yard. The first 5 graduates already had the necessary credentials to enroll for only one academic year. They included John Felder, Ignatius Garvin, Charles Grayson, William Webb, and Eli Gettings. Of the 5, Gettings was the most famous. After graduation, he continued as a demonstrator at the medical college before accepting a position in Maryland. He would, however, return to the Palmetto State just a couple of years later to join faculty at the Medical College of the state of South Carolina. He remained on the faculty until 1873 and served in a visiting capacity until his death in October of 1878.